Hi there, Symes here. This is a quick tutorial on how to use the pads. Yeah, who am I kidding? It's not going to be quick. So what are the pads? They are an extension of the play buttons for the loops and the groups which those loops can be in. They're a start-stop mechanism. They will start or stop the loop or group defined by the parameters that you place into them, basically. So to create, actually before we create one, let's have a look at what it does. Okay, so let's first of all, as you can see, I've layered these fellas. You can see them. That one looks quite exciting. So you can have more than one loop starting at the same time. So let's just hit that and see what happens. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, and the top one there, 3, playing just from hitting that set there. And this is where we get into arrangement of your song. But not only can it start, but it can also stop. Like this. Fantastic for arranging, very powerful stuff. So, how do we create a loop? Basically, we use the grip button and we hover over, let's say number 5, and we create our pad. So press the A button then with your thumb and whiz it to you. There's no button to send it away. That would be too much fun, but you can also use that on other things too as well, on pretty much everything really. So here is our pad. Now we can change the color of this pad. We have to do that at the loop we created it from, and yeah, basically just choose a color that you like. Let's go for something like that. Let's do a nice blue there. We change the color, change the size by just clicking on it again using the grip buttons like that. If you want it that big or you want it that small, that's up to you. It can be a bit sensitive when you take it off. It sort of changes, especially if you want to keep things neat and tidy like this. So what I do is I grab them like that, and then when you let go of them, they are the size that you want them to be, basically. So settings, what do? They will trigger the loop. Now, default settings on here is for it to run at next loop. I'm not a great fan of it, although I understand, because if you've got a 64 bar loop, it's going to run for 64 bars before it starts, and life's too short for that. So for me, by default, I put everything on a quarter. So it starts on a quarter beat. So when you first start your track, the best thing you can do, if you're of a similar mind, is to set that in here. So every loop that you create, every stem has that setting by default. So yeah, start and stop. So a quarter, you can start it in this radio menu. You can start it on the next loop, as I said, instantly if your timing is that good, or if any divisions of the bar that you want there. But say my favorite is the quarter. Yeah, so it'll go on the next beat or the next quarter beat, and it runs just like the loop. And you can set the fade in and fade out, and again, it's got some good choices in there. So if you wanted to fade in over 2 bars and fade out over 1, that's how you do it. So it fades in and then fades out. And with the one shot, do that again, it'll just run once. It bypasses the loop mechanism, just the once. And click it, it'll stop. And if you hit the retrigger, press the start, you press it again, it restarts. Which is a very good effect if you set these 2 parameters here to none. Auto to none, and it's instant. Set this to instant too. Good for effects. Okay. let's turn that off. Let's put that back on a quarter. Let's put that back on a quarter and no fade in. So that is your loop, the coloring, positioning, and resizing, what it does. So let's grab another one. Now it's very important to remember, let's do this different size, that when you set the parameters in one, it's copied to all of them. Okay, I'm a fan of that because if I've created a composition like this, and I want to change how my loop reacts in my pads, maybe I want more fade in, less fade in, more of a retrigger, then it'll change through the whole lot all at once without me having to pick through all these piles that you can see here and change it. So I'm actually a fan of that. There is merit in maybe each pad doing something individual. There's probably more sort of creative license in that, but yeah, I'm happy with the way it is. Maybe that's something for the wish list. Not too sure. So what do we do? Why are they here, these pads? So because you can have multiple pads, if you're playing an instrument live, you can have a pad here, and if you've got another instrument over here, like for instance the board, which I know is going to appear behind me, yes. Then you can literally just grab another one and stick it here. So you can play the board and then start it without having to go over here, find it, and press play, which is just going to interrupt you on what you're doing. So let's just delete that, let's delete that, let's keep that over here. So what are the uses for them in our arrangement? So basically, let's say we have a mission where we want to start that, but then we want to bring in some drums and percussion. And then finally the drum. And maybe some atmosphere as well. So that's the mission. Doing that reminded me of something that is pretty important to know, that if you have a group pad and you have also a loop pad of something within that group, if you have that playing, the loop pad will play, but only the one loop is going. Now if you wanted to trigger everything else in there, this loop has its own little game of reversey and will stop just like that without playing these. Let's do that again. Now I want that lot to play. No, it's not going to happen. Okay, it just stops that one. So the thing to do here is to cheese it a little bit. I mean, let's say, let's have another 5 there, and we're going to set that to instant, mainly for the stop instant. Put that just in front of that loop. So what we're telling it to do now is to stop and then play the whole thing. And it didn't work. Let's do it again. There we go. So be very aware of that. I think the development team told me that was a little bit of a bug, but yeah, just be very aware of that. So we've got that going. Now we want to bring in some percussion, and we want to bring this fella in, and we want it to start on a quarter. And yeah, let's have some fade in. Let's give it a 1. No, let's give it a 4. Fade out. So let's also bring in 14. And do the same. Quarter. Let's fade that in on 4 as well. But we're not bringing in the last one. basically what we've got. Playing our synth there. Bringing those in. Bringing those two in. And that's the power of these pads, being able to trigger stuff to come in really, really quickly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the main beat with this fella. But then we're going to stop that as well. And we're going to do that to an instant stop. And we're going to start that instantly as well. So that pad is stopping this. So let's just do a global stop. And then finally this one. So stop this and play the main beat. And this is where we are sort of creating a timeline like the fella behind me here, because with these fellas going like this, you don't have to think about your order, you literally just follow the progression of your pads. The other thing you've got to remember is, you know, that your timing between them. Okay, and then I want to bring that one back in, but I'm not going to hit that again because then I have to remember to do that. Whereas I'll just have that there. There is no remembering. Just follow the sequence. So that's the power of those. Now we've got that, it's important to mention about these group pads as well. As you can see, I've got blank groups. They actually don't have any stems, any loops in them. They're just groups. And I've used them in my arrangement here as notes, basically, and they're black. And you can see behind these group of pads, I've got it scene 1, just wrote in the title there. And that's a reminder to, hey, play the organ, you're going to forget, play the organ, and then bang, bang, bang. Then, yay, play the board because you're live playing, and then bang, 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 all the way to the end. So you can use groups for information as well. But another thing you can do, and I'm just going to create a group up here, add that, and I'm going to bring that fella down there like that. You can create placeholders with presets. So if I'm playing an instrument and I'm doing a live play thing and I want to record what I'm playing, but I want it to be in an arrangement here, I can actually pad that out and have that as part of a pad, part of my arrangement in behind something or whatever. And then if I was to play, let's read this here. And record that. Set to 8, that's fine. Oh, let's do that again. That one didn't do. You see, you've got my placeholder here. So I'm playing live. The only thing I have to do is then grab that, put that there, and it's there instantly. So if I already set the parameters in this section or in the group itself, the group pad itself, it instantly goes in there. So all you can do is play, both move it. If you want to see a working example of that, then just go to my channel and watch the Blue Monday video. There you'll see that being used and being in action. And I think that's about that. So yeah, how to create a timeline, how to organize your pads, and yeah, have fun, be creative.